Right now, from KTAB News, your local election headquarters, this is Big Country Politics.
Well, thank you for being here. I'm Victor Sotelo. We start our broadcast with our eye on Abilene. The city of Abilene says it is now more than halfway done with the multi-million-dollar water meter replacement project that started a year ago. Now, 12 months later, KTAB's Danica Hill is talking with homeowners and city officials about why you could see an increase in your bill.
Has the city come through and replaced your meter?
Yes, they have.
The city's Advanced Metering Infrastructure System project, or AMI, is now about 60% complete.
Other than a meter reader actually having to go out and lift a lid and look at a meter and jot that number down, this information will be sent electronically.
Amanda Pope, Public Information Coordinator for the Utilities Department, says the smart water meters will provide a more accurate reading.
Where our old meters may, at a very, very low pressure rate or something, may not have been calculating all of the water flowing through. The new meters are very accurate, so they are collecting that data.
Workers are going door to door, leaving door hangers of the places they've already completed. And if you aren't sure what those smart water meters look like, just check for this black disc in your front yard.
It was done a long time ago. It's that little rubber thing on top of it.
For homeowners like Bill Simons, he isn't too concerned about a change in his water bill.
Well, sometimes it's up and down, but you never know where you take more showers or, wash more clothes or whatever.
But for others,
what we're seeing is people are just surprised that how much they actually use in the summer.
The new meters are still in the testing phase, meaning workers are manually checking them and comparing them to the new readings.
But you see them all over town reading them, so I kind of figure it's for checking to make sure that the bills are all complete.
And once all the testing is complete,
they will actually be able to go online and see their usage for themselves.
In Abilene, with coverage you can count on, Danica Hill, KTAB News.
And the Utilities Department says there will be a public announcement when their online portal is ready for customers to register and start monitoring their usage. All right, well, we've been reporting coronavirus numbers for you since March, but the different tests and when they were taken and then reported can be very confusing. But now the University of Texas has developed a new way to monitor the number of COVID cases in the state. KTAB's Marley Caper was part of a Zoom conference call and has more details for that story.
When Robin Taylor was walking around downtown, she probably wasn't thinking about the COVID numbers. But after we asked her, she said,
my son is in school here, and secondly, my husband sees his parents quite often, and they are in their 80s, and we do not want it to get back to them since they're a vulnerable population.
It's important for her to be up to date on the cases. UT has been building pandemic preparedness tools for the state of Texas since the swine flu pandemic back in 2009 with their pandemic app.
The user can put in, this is going to be a deadly pandemic, a mild pandemic. It's going to spread quickly. It's going to spread slowly. And then they can watch how it might play out across the state and see the impact of different kinds of intervention measures like school.
And with COVID-19, leaders in the University of Texas at Austin's COVID-19 Modeling Consortium have been advising local, state, and national leaders, including the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention and the White House Coronavirus Task Force.
The goal of this dashboard is to provide up-to-date information for the general public, for schools, for healthcare providers, hospitals, and policymakers from local to county to across the state to help them understand what the situation is as it unfolds and to protect our families and our communities going forward.
So we have plateaued. You don't want to get too comfortable and then have the numbers spike up.
And the UT dashboard will help parents like Robin stay up to date with the probability of future cases to keep her family safe. And with the dashboard,
you can look up what the situation is in your own communities.
So let's take a look at the UT dashboard. You're going to want to start by selecting your Texas area. Luckily, Abilene is first, so go ahead and click that. The first one over here that you'll see is the reproduction number, which is less than 1%, which means, according to Dr. Mayer, the epidemic should be declining in the Abilene area. The next is going to be the probability of the epidemic growing, which is less than 50%. The third one over here is the 14-day change, which is currently at 2%, which means over the past 2 weeks, we've seen a 2% decline in cases. There's other interactive maps you can look up on the website. In Abilene, with coverage you can count on. Marley Capper, KTAB News.
And to see the dashboard for yourself, you can log on to our website at bigcountryhomepage.com and click on that link. All right, still to come on Big Country Politics, a big decision made by the Abilene Independent School District this year. When we come back, we talk to the school board member who made a motion to change 4 elementary school names here in Abilene. We're back in 2 minutes.
Big Country Politics on KTAB continues.
All right, welcome back to Big Country Politics. We are at Sears Park with Billy Enriquez, school board member. Thank you for being on the show.
Well, thank you.
Well, in full disclosure, we're related, right?
Yes, we are.
Cousins.
We're cousins.
That's right. So, full disclosure here.
And you are the most handsome of both.
Thank you. That's perfect. I tell everybody. So, I want to get started with the last school board meeting. I think there was a little confusion, and I know that's going to be taken care of. But I want to talk about what the school board was trying to decide that day. There was talk about renaming schools, and you're the one who said, "Hey, let's just decide if we're going to do it." Right?
That's correct.
And talk about that. Talk about that exchange.
Well, I think that we were trying to solve a lot of small issues that we can do after we go ahead and pass to go ahead and rename the schools. So that to me it was, let's go ahead and let's rename the schools, and then we'll get all the small details in as we move forward.
And so it wasn't time to talk about what the schools will be named, but
Exactly.
The decision was let's make the decision to change the name.
Exactly. That's the way it started out. In the end, what happened was that we voted on a process to get to the point where we could change the names of the schools, and once we do that process, then automatically the names of the schools will be changed.
So now I want to ask you, why do you think it's so important to a lot of people, not just here in Abilene, but this is going on all around the nation? Why is it important to change the names of these schools from Confederate leaders?
It has to do with suppression. The leaders that we have, I mean, they're part of history. We can't erase that, and we don't want to erase history. We're making history by doing what we're doing. So when you have a community, and part of a community that feels suppressed because of those names and because of what they represent, we're talking about representation of slavery. We're talking about representation of suppressing individuals in their opportunity to grow. And it's important that everyone feels like they're part of the community and that the community is working toward a better community. So that's the reason the change is important, because we need to work together. And it's hard to drive by these schools, to even know that they exist, and they came about at the civil rights movement. You know, these schools were named in I think all of them were in the early 60s, maybe the late 50s. That was the start of the civil rights movement of 65. So we feel, and a lot of people feel, when I say we, I'm talking about myself, that era of naming schools was done predominantly by the majority, because there was no minorities, people of color on that school board, and has not been any till 1986, when Juan Carlos Rodriguez was our first Hispanic school board member. We're talking about that was 100 years after the system was established. So this kind of goes to something is wrong here. We need to be more inclusive. So I feel, and a lot of people feel, that if we change these names and make them for local heroes, people that we know, whether they're educators, community activists, you know, that's what we want. Like we have now, we all know who the Clack sisters were. We all know who Ortiz was. We all know who Sam Thomas was. So we want to do those kinds of things.
And those are the names of schools that we currently have, all the names you read off just now.
Exactly, because we've changed the way, we have already established a policy for naming schools, which will work for renaming schools also. And that policy is really not headed toward national figures as much as it is toward local figures, educators. Anyone that has contributed to Abilene has made it a better city to live in.
And we're outside at Sears Park. I just want to address the weed eating going on there. So that we're outside, it happens. So we'll just have to put up with that. So you mentioned we didn't have a minority school board member till 1986?
That's correct. Juan Carlos was our first school board member. And after him, it was nearly 15 years before we had another one. That was Sammy Garcia. And then after Sammy, then I came along, and then Tim de la Vega came along. So, and then people of color, period. We're talking about Val Brailsford, we're talking about Elmo Wright. So we've had a total of 6 individuals in the history of AISD, which is 130 years. We've had 6 people of color on our board. There's something wrong with that, and I think that Abilenians need to move forward and leave all of that suppression behind us. This is a different community than it was in the 60s. A lot different community. Our population now is a little over 27% Hispanic, 13% African American. This is not Abilene, Texas of 1960. This is Abilene, Texas of 2020, and we need to move forward with the times, and we all need to work as a community.
So the argument against renaming schools is usually what you mentioned, we don't want to erase history. But I guess the other side to that is something else you mentioned is back when those schools, really all across the country, but here especially, back when those schools were named, it was a different school board. There were no people, there were no minorities making those decisions.
That's correct. You know, any way that we look at it, the Civil War was a tragedy. And when we're not going to erase history. I mean, look at Lincoln Middle School. We had a Lincoln School forever. It's gone, but you know what? You can Google it on your phone, and President Abraham Lincoln is still alive. We still have his history. So when we change these names, we're not eliminating history, we're adding to history. The history is that we want to be inclusive.
All right, we're talking with Billy Enriquez, school board member, Abilene AISD. When we come back, Billy Enriquez grew up here in this neighborhood. We're at Sears Park. I want to talk a little bit with you about that and growing up in this neighborhood. All right, awesome. We'll be back on Big Country Politics.
Big Country Politics on KTAB continues.
Okay, welcome back to Big Country Politics. We're continuing our conversation with Billy Enriquez, school board member. We talked about the process and the decision the school board made to change the names of those schools that are named after Confederate leaders, and we talked about why. Now I want to talk to you about why it's so important to change those names and to possibly change them to people in this, to rename them after people in this community. You grew up here in this community, specifically here at Sears Park. Talk a little bit about that.
Well, you know, when we first moved here in 1958, Ambler was a dirt road.
Ambler was a dirt road. It's now a 4-lane road.
No, and then it went to a 2-lane road with asphalt. The bridge wasn't there. You went under and up. Same thing with Vogel. I mean, this was primitive. I mean, it's like living out in the country. But because of the way that it was situated and because of the times, the community was real close-knit. Everyone knew everyone. Everyone took care of everyone's kids. We looked after each other. It was a different world. And different world also in opportunities. The migration, not everyone that is an Hispanic was born in Mexico, okay? I mean, we have to consider that Texas belonged to Mexico without a doubt, but I wasn't born in Mexico. I was born in Monahans, Texas. My grandmother was born in Terlingua. My grandfather in the same area. My father was born in Monahans, where our family comes from.
Full disclosure, we're related. Yeah. My family, all those places you mentioned, that's all my family as well.
That's where we all came from. So there's a misconception that just because we're Hispanic, and I'm 69 years old, you know, my generation were born here in Texas. They weren't born in Mexico, they were born here. Our generation before that, a lot of them came from Mexico because of the revolution in 1910. So what we're looking at is the way that people were looked at because of their heritage. And all of that, really it goes back to not having a good, for a better lack of words, for being ignorant to the fact that there's a lot of history out there. There's a lot of history on both sides. You know, as Hispanics, our history is very close. If you're a German American, your history is close to your heart, but in distance, it's not past the Rio Grande, it's past the Atlantic Ocean.
Yeah.
You know, so our history is ever changing on a daily basis. People come and go, and they have an influence here. But the problem is that our opportunities have not gone in the same direction. Our opportunities have been limited because of stereotyping, because of opportunities not to excel in education, opportunities that are missed because of color, you know. And I want to tell you that most of my role models in the business world have been the majority. And you know why? Because we as minorities have not had those opportunities to amass any kind of wealth to give opportunities within our own sector. Just imagine, I went to school with not one Hispanic or person of color in the system.
Wow.
Never had a teacher that looked like me. But I knew what I could do if role modeling is important. And that was, I could work as a custodian, I could work in the cafeteria and food service. There's nothing wrong with those jobs. But what I'm saying is that now our children at least have some role models in the district that look like them, that can relate to them. And not that others can't relate, but you have to have that experience, you know. I've been told many times, so it means that as an Anglo-American, I can't teach your Hispanic American because we can't. I said, no, that's not the point I'm making. The point I'm making is if we can't relate to each other, it doesn't matter what color you come from, you're not going to be able to teach that child. But we're going to have teachers that look like our children, that can relate to some of the experiences that they had, and in that they can teach them in the way that they can accept, or that they can recognize, or it makes a lot of difference, and we need to do something to move forward with this.
Well, and I want to go back to the school board, something you said in our last segment. You said, you gave a number of how many school board members, minority school board members, we have had in 130 years of having the AISD. What was that number again?
6.
6
We've had
minority school board members in 130 years.
That's right. We had 2 African Americans. One was Elmo Wright, the other one was Val Brailsford. That was also an educator. Both of them were educators. And then we had 4 Hispanics, starting with Juan Carlos Rodriguez, and then Samuel Garcia, and then myself and Tim de la Vega.
Let me ask you this. What would you tell people like yourself, minorities here, who maybe thought about running either for school board, city council, anything like that? What would you tell somebody that's thinking about it?
I think the first thing that I would mention to them is don't disregard your community to get to where you want to go. By that, you don't have to sell out to the bigger community just to be in a position of serving the community. Because what we're trying to do here is build bridges. So you want to build bridges all the way across. I have good relationships with every community in this city, and it's not by chance. It's because I've wanted to have those relationships.
You've reached out.
I've reached out, and they've reached out to me. I'm a person that they know that they can call upon, and will try to do whatever is possible to help in the situation. But we don't need people running for school board that can't cover the spectrum. You know, I say, well, you know, you represent the Hispanic community. I represent all children in the ISD, and so do my other school board members. And what we want, we all have an agenda, and that agenda is to provide the best education we can for every child that we have in our school district. So I don't serve just the Hispanic community, but what I do serve is people that are underserved in all groups. I pride myself in thinking, or in knowing, that when someone calls me with an issue with AISD, that I can help them navigate the system to resolve whatever the issue is, whether it's in their favor or it's not in their favor, but at least they know what the problem is in moving forward, and that helps move forward.
It sounds like you're saying if you're thinking of running for school board, you think you're running for city council or any elected office, if you're thinking about running to advocate for a certain group, that really shouldn't be the mindset. You should be running to do the job.
The thing about being of a particular group is that at least you have some understanding of some of the issues that are in that group. But we incorporate that because other communities have those same issues. We're not set apart that we're the only ones that have those issues. Now, we may be, us and African Americans may be the only communities that have the issue of not having certified staff, teachers, as representing the district that look like them. And that's a true statement. We don't have. Approximately 89 to 92% of our certified teachers are white. Our district, standalone Hispanic is 46, African American 13%. This is considered a majority school district. Think about that. We don't have that representation, and I'm not saying that the teachers that we have are not doing a good job. I'm just saying that some of these children need a role model that can relate to them, that have had the same experiences. And Hispanics and African Americans are not the only sectors of this community that have been underserved. Without a doubt, I deal with everyone in this community, and believe me, there's Anglo-Americans in this community that are also, their children are also underserved. Poverty has no limit on race or financial status.
Do you think that's the biggest barrier right now? And I think we have time for this one last question. Do you think that's the biggest barrier right now is poverty, and that is what's led to where we are now?
I think that's a true statement. Poverty is, I mean, if we look at the census tracts in Abilene, Texas, we're standing on one of those censuses that has a lot of underserved individuals. But so does 71603, and that's ACU in that area, not on the hill, but below that.
Sure.
So Abilene as a city, really, we just barely meet the medium income. Our housing is good, but we need more housing, affordable housing. There's a cycle here that's hard to stop, and that's called poverty. It's hard to stop. The only way that we can put a hedge on it is through education. And we've all heard, the more education you have, the better off you're going to be. Well, that's true, but it doesn't provide, in some cases, opportunity, because the hearts and the minds of the individuals that have the resources, that own the businesses, that fill the economy, have to be open to letting other people that don't look like them participate in their business, to be part of it. And we've got to go in that direction,
Yeah.
Things are changing. Abilene is a great community. I have friends all over this community, and I love the community. We have some issues, but let me tell you, we have more people of good heart than we have people of hard hearts. We have people that want to make changes, but they're not the people in charge. And that's not to say that all the people in charge don't want to make changes. I'm just saying that the community as a whole wants to move forward. We always have those individuals that want to run block, they want to keep the old stuff, they want to keep in charge, they want to be large and in charge. It's not going to work. This is 2020, and we have got to move forward.
Is changing the names of these schools with Confederate leaders a first step to that, or one of the first steps to that?
I think that it's a big step, because it shows that we're letting go of an era that needs to be let go of. That doesn't mean we have to forget. We haven't forgot the Holocaust, We don't need to forget any of that, because history repeats itself. So we need to keep in mind that if we're not careful, we could slide all the way back. And if we look at the national politics that are going on, my gosh, this looks like the civil rights of 1965. The only thing we're missing is the dogs and the fire hoses. Bring those on, and it'll look exactly like the pictures that I saw when I was a kid on national TV, when they were hosing down and beating people up and dogs trying to eat you. We ain't there yet, but if we're not careful, we can get there.
We got a lot more to talk about. We'll have to have you back on the show. Thank you for being here.
Hey,
Billy Enriquez, school board member. We'll be back on Big Country Politics.
Big Country Politics on KTAB continues.
And of course, you just got through listening to Billy Enriquez, Abilene School Board member, who made the motion to change the name of the 4 elementary schools that are named after Confederate leaders. Of course, Reagan Elementary will be shut down, so that's one they don't have to worry about changing. However, they're still going to talk about it at the next school board meeting, so stay tuned for that. We're going to have a lot more coverage on that topic as they try to decide which names they're going to use for those 3 schools, not 4, because as I said, Reagan will be shutting down. And we do have a story on our website, bigcountryhomepage.com, of a Abilene family of a soldier who was killed in action, and they are advocating for their family member to be one of those names. All right. That does it for this week's Big Country Politics. For all the latest political headlines, you can always go to bigcountryhomepage.com, and we'll see you next week, same time, same place. Thanks for watching.